How do family and community inspire us to be our best? What is the most important thing that Dom learned in life? And how can music and lyrics become a mentor? If you'd like to find out, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Between Views. I'm your host, Alec Husky. This podcast aims to cast light on and connect you with inspirational people, identify them as potential mentors in your journey, and invite them to share their stories and wisdom with the world. My hope is that this podcast contains some information that's vital in your journey. In this episode, we converse with Dom Valdivia about his mentors and the most important things he's learned in life. We're also doing another giveaway. We have up for grabs an epic recycled plastic handplane from War Handplanes. Dom is a huge advocate and once a handplane actually changed his life. All you need to do is follow Between Views, Dom Prevails and War Handplanes, leave a 5-star review and follow on Spotify, and comment WAW, that's W-A-W, in the comments below, or on Instagram. Bonus points for sharing it to your story. Just before we get started, if you enjoy listening to this podcast, I'd like to invite you to leave a star rating on whichever service you found us, and also the opportunity to join the Between Views Patreon community for access to exclusive weekly ideas and content. There's going to be new ideas dropping all the time, at least once a week. This is the best way that you can support the podcast and an amazing opportunity for you to enrich what you know. We hope you enjoy. Inspired person. From what I can tell, you get really frothed out about just the surf, these people you're capturing. Like when the competition came up, you were like, yes, this is sick. As soon as you won it, you're like, yes, this is still sick. I just want to show everyone this thing. I really love that energy. And to be honest, all that stuff, I'm like, oh, this is why I've got to talk to you. But I found that people who are inspired by things and start to create and show things, they were typically inspired by someone. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sit with people who I think are inspirational and are doing really cool things so that I can become more inspired, so I can, learn how to and hopefully share that with people. That's the point of Between Views. So absolutely, someone, something, animal, people, place, handplane, even I've learned, can be a source of inspiration now. Who was it? What are they? What are these things, these moments, these books, these people that have inspired you in your life? Who's your mentors?
Well, I gotta say, probably my number one person I look up to is obviously my brother. My brother Joseph. We're really close, and he's kind of always had the best advice for things in life. So, and like I stated earlier, he kind of helped me out with kind of knowing, the good stuff to put in the body. And yeah, he's definitely been one of my main mentors, people I look up to. And then you have the surf community. I mean, I can go on and on with names, but I have my friend Zack. He's a heavier set guy. But
that's Zacazaca, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like surf buddies, man. We look out for each other in the water, and we're always hitting up North Shore and Sandy's. But man, the drive that he has to go out there in the water at his size. I'm not saying it just because he's big, but I feel like I kind of see myself in him, and he's an amazing individual as well. So he's a great father, and he's really good at poetry. He's a Spanish professor.
Is he?
So many things. Yeah, he is. He's a man. And he's definitely someone I look up to. There's another guy. His name's Captainsquinty, but his name is Ehara. In my opinion, he's like him and my friend Chris are the reason why I'm able to go in these conditions up north on bigger days, because they drag me to freaking off the wall, which gets way gnarlier than pipeline a lot of days. And I wouldn't be able to even touch that type of water if it wasn't for those two guys. And I mean, man, the list goes on. There's so many people Jade and Howley Reeves. They're two really good friends of mine. Uh,
Yeah.
Killer boogie board riders and
Yeah.
great photographers. And yeah, that I mean, these people, so many of them are so incredible, and they're all uplifting.
Yeah.
And we're all like brothers out there when we're in the water, and I definitely look up to them. Like I said, the list can
Yeah.
go on and on and on, but uh, yeah, I would say that. Oh, and my grandmother, of course, for
All right. I was waiting for you to say that.
yeah, introducing me to photography at such a young age. Um, my mom for always telling me how things are,
Yeah.
and my aunt. If it wasn't for her, my brother and I wouldn't be here today. So she took care of us the majority of our upbringing, and she's been an amazing mother figure. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So all your mentors come from your local community, your like surf local community, and from your family. And they're people who give you advice. They're people who keep you in line, and they're the people who seem to inspire you, and the ones who are taking care of you and just showing you how to do things, out in the water. They're the ones who seem to be inspiring you the most. Um, when you mentioned that your brother's given you so much good advice, what do you reckon is the best advice your brother ever gave you?
um, that's a great question.
That is an open question to each of those people. If you can think of like a piece of advice from any of them that pops up for you that's just like, whoa, that was a game changer. What would that be?
I would say that huh, probably from my brother, and we uh we would often say kind of like I don't know, just send it. I know that sounds cliche and that
Just
can be
send
with
it.
yeah, kind of like going into like my friends with the water too. We all kind of have that
Yeah,
mentality. So I would say just send it. Life's short. Just if you fail, at least you tried, right? So just send it.
just send it. That's it. Perfect. Um, so, all right. So all of your role models are in your local community because I find a lot of people have role models, you know, far away or even people that they don't know. People don't know that they look up to them even, but it changes them. And we shift into our mentors. We sort of see these amazing things in people and we change into them. Um, do you have any? I think it's not just people as well, but what about like books or apart from the hand plane? I'm fascinated by this hand plane.
I know, I know,
The
I know.
the books or moments that were like inspirational for you.
I'll say it's actually a band. One of my favorite bands. Um, well, there's two of them actually, but we'll go with one. They're called It Prevails, which obviously my other Instagram handle, Dom Prevails. You can kind of see what I did there.
Yeah,
But they have this album called Capture and Embrace, and it's also a song. And it kind of talks about just kind of getting through like the rough times in life and pushing through and
yeah,
knowing that things always get better in time. And the term capture and embrace for me is like almost like a lifestyle. And we
yeah,
have to not capture like we're taking away, but more like we're documenting our life and we're learning as we go. So I would
yeah,
say that their album and song Capture and Embrace has really impacted my life. And it's one of the albums that have got me through like some pretty darker times in life, I would say. So
Wow, I'm gonna check it out right after this.
I hope you're into like screamo metal because that's what
Yeah,
they
no,
kind of
that's
are.
that's fine by me. That's fine by me.
But the lyrics, if you read the lyrics and then you start listening to, you kind of feel the emotion, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty impactful.
yeah,
So
nice. I'm looking forward to it. Next question. What is the most important thing you learned in life?
um, after seeing a lot of people pass away during my life, I feel like life is super short, and I know I said that earlier, but I know some people hear that and they think about it, but they don't really take it all in. Like, I feel like life goes by so quick; it's super short. So if there's anything you want to try, just go for it because it's super short, and yeah, you
You
can't
gotta,
fail unless you try.
right. You gotta give it a crack as soon as you see it there. It's worth just giving it a shot and getting out there and trying.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Next question. I asked these last sort of set of questions. They're more like my chance to learn from you and see if potentially you have some advice that you could give me that would help me with my kind of journey at the moment. Because you never know who's got that piece of advice. You never know who is the person. And, someone listening right now,
Hmm.
ideally, someone who listens to this might need this advice themselves. One question I've been asking lately is what if you were my parent, let's say you're my dad, what would you tell me to do with my money?
I would say if I was your dad, I would tell you to, with your money, I would say to put it away and act like it doesn't exist for like a
Yeah,
rainy day. The majority just live within your means.
yeah,
And if you do need to spend the money, make sure it's going to either be on investment or if it's something that you've been wanting for a very long time and you can actually
yeah,
afford it.
yeah,
Um, or if it's a tool that will inspire you to become creative or successful or bring you actual happiness, not just like a new car phase where it just fades and it just goes away, but
yeah,
something that's actually going to like stoke you out and last. Like for me, it would be a camera, like a camera that I've always wanted. I usually don't just go
yeah,
out there and get it. Usually it's a
yeah,
year or two or three goes by and then I'm like, okay, I could afford it. It's more affordable than it was before and I still want it. So
yeah.
yeah, I would
So
say
it's
that definitely put your money aside for the majority and try to invest it or put it into things that will only turn into more money.
yeah. What's worth investing in?
Um, that is a great question. I would say I don't know if it depends on where you live, but it could be into like properties
Yeah,
or if you know that there's a let's say if you're into watches, Rolexes
yeah,
will only go up. Gold is a great option. A buddy of mine said silver is going to be worth more than gold. I don't know if he was just talking, but um, yeah, kind of just do your research and look into what's more worth investing in. But I'm not the greatest guy when it comes to all that stuff.
ah, that's all right.
I
I
just
asked
put
the
it all
question
away for a
nonetheless.
rainy for I put it away for a rainy day and hope that I don't really need to use it and then just kind of live within my
Live
means.
within means.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you for that. So we're coming towards the last final few questions in the show, and we're doing great so far. And um, the next question is a new one that I've been asking people, and I really like this question because it allows me to meet people that I may have never met, or potentially have the chance to talk with them and learn more from them and share their stories. I don't know what their stories are, but the
Mm.
question is, who is a mentor that you would love to see on Between Views and would be an amazing guest? Also, what would you ask them?
That's such a hard one. Um, I I would have to go with my buddy Zachary Payne.
Yeah,
Um, I think he would be a great guest to have on,
why's that?
and because he's like a he's like a I feel like a jack of all trades. He has
Yeah,
so much knowledge, and I think it'd be really good to kind of like pick his brain.
yeah,
And a question for him would be that's a good one. Mm, I would say, oh man, this is hard. I'm trying to think of it not being such like in the water, because I feel like we've deviled a lot in that. But mm, I guess just I don't know. Well, I guess what got him started with body surfing. I know that's kind of cliche, but like, why did he pick? How did he pick that up, and what got him started with that?
Okay, brilliant. There you go. And the next and final part is coming towards the end of the show. We're coming up to about an hour now chatting. Been really
Hmm.
enjoying myself. Still fascinated
Likewise.
by that one fateful moment of that hand plane turning up. I haven't been thinking about that. I probably dream about it. Um, so there's a part of this show now which is kind of like passing it on to the next guest. Someone asked
Hmm.
you a question, and that person was a friend of mine. His name's Grant Prest. He's someone I body surf with. He
Nice.
was born with one leg and three fingers on each hand, and he has now opened a surf zinc company called Three Fingers Surf Zinc. And he used to be a an Olympic volleyballer as well in the Special Olympics. So pretty
Hmm.
inspirational guy. And his question to you was,
what life decision would you change if you could change it?
and I said to him when
Uh,
I ask you this, you're
uh,
not allowed to say, I wouldn't change anything. I'm happy with the things, you have to actually change one.
it's funny. I was actually gonna say like, oh, I would just let things be the way that they are because that's life and whatever.
Yeah.
But uh, if I could change a life decision, um, I would probably change my unhealthy habits growing up in South Florida,
Yeah.
and I would probably change the way that I viewed the ocean in South Florida as well, because there's so much news about sharks and all this stuff with the water in South Florida that it kind of makes you not want to go in. And I feel like if I knew what I know now in the ocean, like when I go to South Florida right now, I'm actually hoping to go diving, or I might drive up north to Cocoa Beach to see if there's any surf.
Mm.
Where when I was earlier on in my life, just kind of scared of the water. And the first part of that answer would be to just kind of change old bad habits, kind of steering away from fast food and getting more involved with the gym, getting outside more. And yeah, I just changed my lifestyle habits a bit and just kind of the way that I thought about the ocean.
Right. The change lifestyle habits and your relationship with the ocean, you would have shifted those earlier, now knowing what you know now.
Absolutely.
Brilliant. And
Absolutely.
then
Absolutely.
that brings us to our final part. And the final part is you have to leave a question for the next guest. It's not someone maybe you'll know them, it could be,
Hmm.
it might not be, but you're just throwing a question out to someone, the very next guest on Between Views.
All right. Well, it might be kind of morbid, but if you
Morbid
knew
it
that,
up.
I know, right? If you knew that you were only going to be alive for a few more years, what would you change in your life and why?
Wow. That is a good
Heavy, I
question.
know.
No,
Heavy.
it's a great question because that's potentially a reality that could be unfolding. So it's something worth thinking
Yeah,
about all the time anyway. Wow.
I
Okay.
concur.
I'm excited to see what the next guest says to it.
Awesome. Me too.
Brilliant. Well, Dom, thank you so much for agreeing to come onto the show. I'm very grateful that you came on and shared your wisdom with Between Views, and I've certainly learned a lot from you today. I want to go and write a whole book about this hand plane now. And, you've got me thinking about a few things. A couple in particular is, that little things can just turn up in your life and shift you as a person, and also just the people close to you, your community. There's more to what can shift your life than what I've come to realize. Like there's more mentors than just people. So you've got me reflecting on that today. So Dom, thank you so much for coming on Between Views.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing, and I appreciate everything that you do. And I look forward to hearing more of these awesome episodes. And thanks again for having me on.
Thank you for listening to the final part of our interview with Dom. Next week, we have a new guest on Between Views, Pierre Heisting. Pierre will be sharing his story about his 10,000 kilometre journey through Iran, his impressive river film project Atuel en el Muro, and uncovering the value of a love for writing and creating. This will be released the coming Monday. Next, if you're one of our regular listeners, or even if you're new here, I'd like to invite you to leave a star rating for us on Spotify or Apple Music, or hit subscribe on YouTube. This genuinely helps us to get discovered by new listeners and would be epic if you could help us out. Thirdly, Between Views is opening its Patreon community. We've had a few members sign up. If you'd like to join the community and receive exclusive weekly updates and ideas, then you can check it out at patreon.com/betweenviews. In other news, Between Views is always looking for collaborators. If you want to join the team or create something together, then please reach out on Instagram. Finally, if you know someone who deserves to be interviewed or just have some feedback, then send us an email at betweenviewsbv@gmail.com or message us on Instagram. Thanks again, and see you soon. Between Views.